Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Wannabes podcast, where I'm your host, Morgan, and over there is Luke, who's joining us today. So excited you're back.
Yeah, I know. It's been a minute. I have no...
Hey, you were feeling well last week, it's all right.
Okay, you have good excuses. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you were under the weather. I'm happy you're feeling better, though.
Yeah, so am I. It's been a minute, not even gonna lie. I was sick for a lot longer than I wanted to be, so I'm glad I'm finally feeling better. We're back, and yeah, good movie. I feel like we're gonna talk about.
Very nice, yeah. I'm excited to dive into the movie, but before we do, let's switch on over to discuss some movie news.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got the things. Yeah, there it is.
I do. We have these things. So, everybody, our first bit of news to discuss tonight is some stuff regarding Austin Butler. So, Austin Butler is actually eyeing to play Patrick Bateman in Luca Guadagnino's. I don't know if that's right, but it's the new American Psycho movie. I literally don't know how to say that name. How do you say it?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. Go ahead, continue.
Guadagnino's? I don't know. Anyhow,
Guadagnino's is a good try. That's a good one. That's how I would pronounce it.
Thank you. You were shitting on me for a second there.
I hadn't seen it. I'm sorry. That was pretty good. No,
it looks intimidating, okay?
Yeah, it does.
But I do want to say, first things, like, after basically learning of this and the people who have been reporting on it, they have learned from a source close to the production that Austin Butler has not yet closed an actual deal to play Patrick Bateman in the new film. While it's true he is being eyed for the project, nothing is set in stone yet. So, but he is a potential casting. We're gonna see if that ends up happening out. But yeah, this is a new American Psycho movie is coming out as the investment banker with a double life as a serial killer, and it could potentially be Austin Butler diving into that role.
Good book too.
I have heard it's good. I just don't know. I don't remember if I've seen anything of the original or not.
Well, I can get behind this. I like this. Austin Butler is pretty fucking good. I think as far as the young actors go, I think I like him better than I like Chalamet.
Okay.
I think I pronounced that name right. Yeah, I definitely take me some Austin Butler over some Timothy. Yeah, I'm on board with this. I enjoy the original. I've read most of the book. I'm a terrible reader. I apologize, but
are you happy it's getting a remake?
I don't care.
Okay. We're in the era of remakes. We kind of got to embrace it at this point.
Well, and this one's pretty inconsequential to me. Okay. I feel like because the first one's really good. So as far as this coming out, it either has to be like good or it's just not going to compare. There is no in between. Even if the movie is, and we come out and we go, that was okay, like that's still a failure because the first one's really, really fucking good.
Gotcha.
So it's got a lot to live up to. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't even think it's that old. When did it come out? Like 01? Something like that. So as far as remakes and stuff, to me, it just on the fact that the original isn't that old to me, I don't really see the point, but hey, whatever. As soon as I heard like I don't know, do we assume Italian name? Then like
it seems very Italian.
Italian horror movies in this kind of seem to fit hand in hand. So if like we take it in that sort of direction and it gets kind of a more Italian flavor, I'm cool with it.
Cool. Nice. I don't know much about it personally. But I mean Austin Butler is a very great young star right now. Has been appearing in a lot. So
well, Christian Bale is a very young star in that, and he's fucking phenomenal in it. So it's big shoes to fill for sure. It's a really good movie. It's got a really good cast. Christian Bale is phenomenal in the fucking thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Hey, Tyler, how's it going in the chat?
Ooh, Tyler, you're late.
He is for Tyler. This is late.
That's what I'm saying.
In movie industry news, though, we actually have some Sony news. Sony is actually reportedly giving up on its Superman universe, which includes. Sorry, thank you. What the fuck? I'm literally reading it too, and I still said the wrong thing. It's been a long week already, and it's only Wednesday.
No, it was great.
But no, Sony is reportedly giving up on its Spider-Man universe, what I meant to say, which includes universally planned films such as Venom and Morbius, as Craven the Hunter is projected for a worse opening weekend than the disastrous Madam Web, which is really surprising to me because I think it's looking, what I see looks so much better than what we saw for Madam Web.
That
Um,
disappoints me.
yeah, it's projected for a really low box office opening weekend, which I'm surprised
I
about.
was Yeah, I was reading that today. It bums me out. I want to like this movie. I really do. This is the most excited I've been for a Sony not Spider-Man film since
Hmm.
they announced the first Venom, and we already know my feelings on that. So the idea that this is still being looked at in that caliber, I can't help but wonder if it's just maybe some of the things are kind of becoming like old hat, and we're sick of seeing them, particularly from this franchise with these characters.
It could
That
be, or just the
it could
studio.
possibly just be getting a bad right, or the studio could just possibly getting a bad rap,
Hmm.
before we give it a chance, and that's cool. But also, I'm hoping that this will get like the Venom treatment. Remember when that came out? Critically
Hmm.
panned. Nobody liked it, and it still made over $800 million when it came out. Who the
Yeah,
fuck
that's
knows
true.
why or how? But I feel like this would deserve something like that more than Venom. Just for that R rating, I'm not even kidding. That R rating to me just already fulfills all the promises that these characters in these stories should have been. The fact that Venom and fucking Carnage is PG-13 makes no sense. Morbius probably should have been rated R just for like the spectacle of it.
Hmm.
I can't speak on Madam Web. That one's just bad. But like, hey, this franchise should be doing a lot better than it is right now. Is all I'm saying. So, if they decide that they want to call it a day, I'm okay with it. But I hope the movie does at least decent.
Yeah, so basically, a lead talent agent ended up telling The Wrap that Sony has developed what they want to develop for now and is instead focusing on the actual Spider Man film that's under Marvel Studios, which is confirmed by Storm Holland to begin filming in 2025. So, right now, they filmed what they want to film. They're going to put their efforts into assisting Marvel Studios with the next, big Marvel Spider Man film. And who knows, they might go back to the Spider Man universe afterwards, but it just has to wait and see what happens, kind of thing. And I think them
I
taking a break from the Spider-Man universe with the hate that they've been getting recently is honestly a pretty good idea.
Well, the Marvel Sony deal should be done pretty soon, right? Like
Probably,
we get one more Avengers outing, I think, and then that's supposed to be the end of the deal. Excuse me.
unless they pay more money.
Well, I've never liked I have never ever liked the fact that Sony took Spider-Man and essentially gave them to Marvel for him to get MCUinized because dis- despite how you feel about either the Tobey Maguire movies or the Andrew Garfield movies, they are their own thing. They
Right.
can stand on their own 2 feet. So this whole idea that Sony just threw in the towel and went, "We can't do this without you," and then subsequently proved us right with the Venom, Morbius, fucking Madam Web, Craven debacle. Like, just can you just get back to getting it together because Spider-Man is your best property. It can make $1 billion all on its own, but like you just got to make a good movie. And I feel like it's really not that hard. You don't need Marvel to do it. All I'm saying. All I'm saying. I want more competition. I don't like that Marvel gets to play with everybody and they fucking suck at it. Like this whole this whole last phase has been a huge disappointment for me with how they treat their characters and stuff. So I'm feeling like we need some fresh eyes. We need some new ideas. Don't be afraid to get away from the machine. You proved that you could do it before. You can do it now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I didn't even mean for that to get so ranty, but like this whole stuff with Craven and shit is disappointing because there's so much potential there.
Hmm.
Not having Spider-Man in your stuff is always going to be like a hard sell, but your movie still shouldn't be this bad. So,
Like I
um,
will say that they've done decent enough without Spider-Man being present in
oh,
them.
Venom has done decent enough.
Yes, specifically Venom. Like that has done well enough. And from there, and like speaking on that, like they could, if they just kind of kept the momentum and kind of gave us the ratings and like the depth and the darkness that we wanted with these films, they could have been doing hopefully a lot better. But Sony, I don't think Sony even has the writers on their team to give us the type of story that they deserved.
I don't know. I haven't bothered to look that extensively into any of the writers' credits, but I'm pretty sure there's some stinkers for everybody. You know what I mean? Um, I don't get it. And I mean, Deadpool, the first Joker. Um, shit, blanket on anything else, but there are examples of Logan. Thank you. There are examples of you putting an R rating on a film, particularly a superhero film. Like it'll do really, really well, and I think it actually
I
opens
mean,
up
look at Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3, Logan, fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just think that it lends itself better to certain characters because you can give a more accurate representation of what they're
100%.
supposed to be, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, seriously, I can understand if you wanna make I guess it doesn't make sense either to do this with your franchise, but if you wanted to make one of your films PG-13 and then you make the next one R, like, you should be able to do that. I would be cool with the Venom franchise if I would've just gotten one, and it
Mhm.
should have been Carnage. But, I mean, just why are you making these decisions? They're weird. You've got all the data in the world to show, like, if you take the chance, it's probably gonna pay off. Why handcuff yourself? I don't get it.
Yeah. Well,
So lots of rants from me, so I can talk for the both of us.
yeah. Well, remember the time when everybody was ranting about the original Sonic the Hedgehog design for the movies?
Yes.
Well, I
Could you
think this
imagine?
no. I couldn't. I couldn't. I've seen like fan made stuff using it and I've it's awful, but in now after like looking at it from like that aspect, like that's not actually what we got. It's kind of hilarious, but thank goodness we did not get that. But what we are getting is actually on the official Sonic the Hedgehog movie Twitter and other social medias as well.
Mhm.
Sorry, X. They are doing a 12 hours of Sonic 3 giveaway. It's actually a website that you can go to and you can sign up for a giveaway and you have the chance of winning the ugly Sonic Christmas sweater. And
So like bullshit Sonic on a sweater?
bullshit Sonic on a sweater. The only thing I think that this sweater is missing is it doesn't have chili dogs on it.
I don't think I wanna see that abomination eat a chili dog.
I mean, fair,
Gonna haunt my
fair.
nightmares.
But I wish there was like little floating like, you know, hot dogs on it.
So I
It
can
is
win this?
terrifying. It is a chance you could potentially win it. Yeah, it is a get part of their giveaway
That's
for.
crazy. So, yeah, there is an alternate universe out there where that design stayed in the movie and it came out and we
Oh,
never got a
absolutely,
franchise. Because that's probably
absolutely.
exactly what the
Like so,
what were they
literally,
thinking?
they're celebrating the release of Sonic the Hedgehog by bringing the holiday cheer and giving away prizes. So the grand prize is a trip for two to the actual big premiere.
Hey,
An additional fun Sonic 3's surprises or sorry prizes. One of them is the Vive Focus Vision, which is kind of like the Oculus. It's a VR headset. There are chances to win, plushies, a light up cup and Sonic popcorn container, chili dog flavored candy canes,
that'd be interesting.
a Ben Schwartz signed Baby Sonic print. There's also Keanu Reeves signed poster, a Sonic themed scooter, and the exclusive ugly Sonic Christmas sweater.
A Sonic themed
Oh, I missed one.
scooter, you said?
Yeah. It looks kind of lame,
Sign
not
me up.
gonna lie. But they're also
Does it
having
go fast?
Sonic. There's gonna be Sonic themed Reebok shoes as well. So those are all the options. Like if you go to their social medias, you can find the link to sign up. And the website is 12 hours of Sonic3giveaway.com. And you can enter for your chance to win any of this. I just think it's
I
hilarious.
am checking this out right now because I'm not gonna lie. That scooter sounds kind of dope.
You must be
Oh
13
God, I'm
years
looking at the
or
scooter.
older. I hope you're older than 13, Luke.
Well, not with my intention to sign up for this. I can tell you that right now. But I intend to sign up for this.
It's so cheesy. It's so silly. That
Okay, hold on. Ooh, actually though,
you
like
li-
for real though,
you want those
those
Reebok
shoes.
shoes. I know. I was like,
Yeah.
he's gonna like those
Oh,
shoes.
those actually look kind of nice. Oh, I don't get to pick like what I enter. I'm just thrown into the raffle.
Yep.
I could literally walk away and fucking. I'm signing up right now.
You could walk away with chili dog flavored candy canes, my dude.
That's fine, but I'm hoping at the very
Honestly,
least I get some jokes
if
out of
you
it.
were to get them and you actually wanted to try them and not just keep them as like a collector's thing,
Oh
you could
yeah,
always
I'm
do it
not.
on the show, you know?
No, it's not like that. And we're in. As my coworker says, we're in there like swimwear. Like it's happening. Thank you for entering. It's official, baby. Let's go.
I'm also gonna sign up for it just because why the fuck not?
Yeah, right though. Actually, please, everybody in chat, sign up for this shit. If you don't want the winnings, give it to me. I'll take it. You can donate it to the show. Fucking give it a shot. Why not? What if we all win? What if we all win? Let's go. I gotta
Let's
borrow
go.
that sweater though. Whoever gets it, I gotta borrow it. I gotta wear it.
That doesn't it look terrifying?
All right. I just want to get back to the fact that like the first Sonic is so sneaky good. I'm just saying. I went and saw it and I expected to have a good time, but I didn't expect it to be that good. The movie's actually pretty fucking decent considering. But imagine if it had that terrible design in it. Would it be as good?
No,
I don't think so
no,
either.
I don't
That's
think it
so
would
crazy
be.
to think about. I got a whole
You know
fucking
why? Do you know
franchise
why
out
I
of it.
feel like it's so sneakily good to people is because we were already going in with we're going in with lower expectations because of the original design.
That's facts. No, that's facts too. That
What
design
and
definitely took
what
it
what if they
way
purposely
down.
released that design knowing everybody was gonna hate it, but they already had the other design lined up in their back pocket, and that was just a whole marketing ploy.
I want to believe that. I want to believe.
I
I
know, me
really
too.
do. But like Deadpool was going through bullshit too. They do the dumbest. You do the dumbest shit. Why do you guys do this? Millions of dollars to make these things, and you just purposely decide you're gonna do the dumbest shit to ruin your fucking movie. What a waste of millions of dollars. Are you fucking kidding me? It makes no sense. All right. I'm trying not to rant, but fuck. This is touchy subjects today.
Well, real quick, if anybody heard weird noises through my mic, it's because Owen was sneezing. They're really cute.
Actually,
But
I want a confirmation in chat when you signed up because you all
yeah,
are gonna fucking sign up. And I want to see in chat says I signed up.
here
Let's go.
for chat for easy clicking. There's the link to the website.
Right now. Right
um,
now. There are
Real
no
quick though,
excuses.
I just for anybody who goes and signs up, you only need to give your first name and an email address. No purchases necessary. The
Well, you have
sweepstakes.
to also click and say that you're 13 and that you're not a robot. Come on.
Correct.
Tell the people what they actually
Sorry,
gotta do.
sorry. But the sweepstakes do end today at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so that means 10 p.m. tonight. You only have just a little over an hour and a half to sign up.
Oh, I'm so glad I did this then. But that makes sense because I was thinking like you can win tickets to the fucking premiere. That's gonna be like tomorrow.
Well,
So
the premiere, the grand, it says the grand prize winner must travel December 15th through the 17th.
Let's go.
I'm
Let's
free.
go.
Let's go.
Come on. You kidding me right now? Everybody sign up. Let's go.
It's really funny. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because I thought you would get a good chuckle out of it.
Oh, this turned into a way better segment than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we were just gonna look at a fucking dumb sweater. It's like, oh no, we're actually signing up for shit.
You got to see the sweater though, right? That sweater's horrendous.
You know what's gonna end up sucking though? Like I can forgive the sweater because I'll probably be able to get it in the size that I want though. But those shoes, they're probably gonna be like 9s. I'm not gonna be able to wear them. It's gonna suck.
What shoe size
like
are
little
you?
Kid shoes. They're like the little.
How big are your feet?
I got 11s.
Oh,
they're not that big.
My brother has 13 shoes.
Yeah,
so
dude, that's fucking...
he some of the brands he actually has to like order online exclusively.
Yeah, no, I don't have that problem.
I
can find my size, but like when it comes to shit like this,
I had an
my size.
One of my exes was literally 6'11", and he wore a size 17 shoe.
Damn.
Yeah, that he was massive feet.
You imagine getting hoofed by that? That would suck.
No, that'd be so painful. Can you imagine if that dude knew how to like really throw a powerful like kick? Like Jesus. We'd be dead. Our necks would be snapped.
Well, I mean, that's a whole big foot to the fucking side of your head. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Even worse, they'd probably leave a fucking footprint there too. It's like, oh, I'm constantly reminded.
While we're on the topic,
giant man's foot on the side of my face.
While we're on the topic of violence, we might as well switch over to our movie review.
Yeah, get into it.
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and switch on over to the movie review.
This is why I'm here to talk nonsense and make segues.
The segues have been going pretty well tonight, surprisingly.
Honestly, though.
Especially for being unplanned, you know? In case
See what
anybody was
happens when I show
wondering,
up.
none of our segues are planned. If there ever are just pure gold segues, they're all completely natural.
No, I'm just good like that.
So, everybody, if you didn't already know, we are reviewing Gladiator 2, which
Gladiator.
is a sequel film to the 2000 film Gladiator. So, first things
Which I had
first,
recently just seen like a few
I
weeks ago.
literally, it probably wasn't like, it was a good thing that I rewatched it, but I rewatched it the day I went to the theater to see Gladiator 2. And we're going to get into some glaring similarities.
No, good call. I
But
mean, seriously, it's one of those movies I'm surprised I even like missed because I was 8 when it came out.
you
But
never
I
saw
remember
the first
vividly.
Gladiator?
No,
I
no, vividly.
forgot
It's
to
the first
pull
time
it
I saw it.
down. I literally have Maximus's helmet up on my very top shelf.
Dork.
I know. Hold on.
With
Wait.
respect.
Wait.
I'm waiting. Get the helmet.
I'm not getting the helmet. It's too tall.
Oh, is that the sword? Are you getting the sword? Come for the review. Stay to see Morgan on all fours.
Hey. Where is it?
Come. Really? How do you not know where you put your sword?
It's all of my swords are under here. They're all hiding it.
Why are they under the futon?
Because
He's
my
gonna hurt
regular
themselves.
I used to have them all in an umbrella stand, and then I got too many swords.
I
And the
know.
umbrella stand broke.
You are setting people up for I'm never standing on your house ever, I swear to God. Fucking stab myself on a sword. Just trying to lay down and go to sleep.
I found it. I just got it from this way.
Oh, man. Everybody. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler says shame.
Listen, shut the fuck up!
Okay, now this all makes sense, though.
Okay. I have Maximus's sword as well.
Alright, I have seen these things a fucking cotillion times. Now they make sense. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God, I've seen these so many times.
Here.
I had no idea what they were. Now I do.
And then...
I am complete.
Oh, there's the helmet. Right there. Anyway.
My co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
Now my camera's fucked.
Seriously, I had no idea that's what those were.
Okay. Yeah. I got them at a garage sale from a really cool dude.
But, great movie. It is a very good movie. I don't know, it's just one of those things that just kind of missed me. Like, I remember wanting to watch it all the time when it came out. Obviously never got the chance to. I was too young, and then just,
All I have to say is, guys, you may hate on me for having all my swords under my futon, but too many people were looking at my swords and literally slammed my swords into my ceramic umbrella stand and shattered the bottom. So
nice friends. Nice people.
They didn't know they did it.
We fight.
You know, it was an accident. It's fine, but I had nowhere else to put them, so I had to put them.
I'm not upset about it.
Under the bed, under the futon is the safest place for people.
I just feel bad for the people that are gonna
come and try to rob my house. I'm gonna murk them.
A little too much force, and next thing you know, I got Maximus's sword in my fucking side.
Isn't that a way to go though?
No, I gotta go out in a fucking blaze of glory, not trying to go to sleep on a futon. Alright,
so dumb.
Those are cool. And like, I'm serious. I always look at those. I go, "What the fuck is this?" And now I know.
Now you know.
That sword is a bajillion times cooler now.
Yeah.
At a garage sale.
$50 for both of them.
Oh, wow.
His wife said he had to downsize.
I would have wanted
what
else did he have? What else was he fucking doing?
I also have a really cool dragon dagger from him. I have also received, I think I have one other sword. No, I didn't get the sword. You know my smaller battle axe that I have?
Yes.
I got that from him as well with the helmet. The Maximus's helmet, sword, a really cool dragon dagger, and then that axe.
My man is about that life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Fuck off, Kim. She makes fun of me for saying that all the time. Whenever I say both of them, it comes out both of them.
I get it. You're in the yak.
I can't. Listen, bitch. I can't explain why I speak the way I do, but I do.
Fair. So what's the box office for the original, Morgan? I'm sorry, I cut
The
you off.
original box office, their budget was 103 million.
Got to show off the sword, though. You're welcome.
And then box office for the very original Gladiator film, which was released in 2000,
Yes.
was 465.5 million US dollars.
Were you alive?
Yes.
What were you? 4?
Depends on when it came out. I was 3.
Sick.
But I did see
mean,
them. My parents, my dad specifically made sure I saw it.
That's what I'm saying. Good on you for watching it. I had to wait and do it as a lonely man.
I'm really surprised you hadn't seen it prior to this.
Me too. You know what? I went and so I saw this. We'll get into it more, but I saw this with my dad, the second one, and he was surprised. He's like, "You really never seen this?" Like, yeah, dude. Way to let me down. He wasn't gonna let me see it.
Okay.
At the time.
Oh yeah, he was more
But I
strict,
know-
wasn't he? About like what you watched.
Oh yeah, I couldn't see the original Spider-Man either.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that because they kissed.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah. No,
Thank you
I
for
love
the
first-
lurk. Enjoy the popcorn.
The first one is really good. And you said 400 what? I'm gonna get this back on track, guys. I'm sorry.
465.5 million was the box office in 2000.
Yeah, the thing was a hit, and
Massive
it
hit.
won the Academy Award for what?
Oh, what was the award it won?
Russell Crowe won one. I know that, but I don't know if it got like Best Picture or anything like that.
Let me see. Let me go see if there's an
I think
award
Russell
section.
Crowe got one for it.
I don't see. Oh yeah, accolades. Here we go. Let me see. So it won 5 awards at the 73rd Academy Awards and was
Yes.
It was nominated for an additional 7. So it was up for massive stuff. It won Best Picture, Best
There it is.
Actor for Russell Crowe,
Ooh, I was
Best
right.
Visual Effects, Best Sound, and Best Costume Design.
I guess I could see it at the time, but there's a lot of stuff watching it in 2024. It was like, okay,
No, for
Yeah,
sure.
this
But back
isn't bad.
back in 2000, 24 years ago,
it holds up well.
it
Don't get
does.
me wrong.
It
holds
does.
up pretty fucking well.
I said that to Dan when we were doing the rewatch as well. It was also for the additional nominations that it did not win. So the categories was Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor for Joaquin Phoenix, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Film Editing.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about the stuff that Joaquin was doing even before, like he's done roles like the Joker and the things that he's doing now. You
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean? Like the dude has been kind of a low-key a titan this whole time.
Just so you know, Gladiator also won the BAFTA award for Best Film.
Okay. Yeah. I remember it
in
being a fucking hit.
2021, Empire Magazine ranked Gladiator 39th on its 100 best movies of all time.
I could see that.
It declared it the 22nd best film of 21st century. The studio.
So keep all that in mind as we're going through this review, because like the legacy of the first one and how successful it was and the awards that it made, this one's got a lot to live up to. You know what
Yeah, I mean,
don't
it went
think you
on.
go into making a sequel to something like that lightly.
It won. I'm like going on for like some more awards. The original won 2 awards at the 58th Golden Globe Awards and was nominated for an additional 3 rewards there, but only took those 2 wins. They won Best Motion Picture Drama and Best Original Score for a Motion Picture. They were also additionally nominated for different awards, but they Best Actor for a Motion Picture Drama for Russell Crowe, another Best Director nomination, and a Best Supporting Actor Motion Picture for Joaquin Phoenix, again through other places. So yeah, like you were saying, massive thing. And both films are loosely based on real events that occur within the Roman Empire, specifically in the later half of the 2nd century AD. But going into Gladiator 2, so first Gladiator, just real quick, going on comparing budgets. The first Gladiator obviously was groundbreaking for its time with the awards that it won, was 103 million. This budget was 250 to 350 million.
Inflation is a bitch.
Mm-hmm. And the newer equipment's better, so it's more expensive.
Right.
And then box office, so Gladiator 2000 brought home 465.5 million. That is a massive box office for 2000. That's huge. Gladiator 2 took in the total sum was 369.7 million.
Jesus.
So, if we want to look at like and that was as of yesterday, December 10th. So, in the United States and Canada, it was projected originally to gross around 60 million from 3,500 theaters in its opening weekend. It was released alongside Wicked, which honestly was probably the reason why it didn't bring in as much as the first one was because Wicked was present.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more competition this time around. If I remember
Absolutely.
correctly.
Absolutely. The film made 22 million on its first day, including a 6.5 million from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut for 55.5 million, finishing second behind Wicked. Wicked took the box office for their opening weekend. It marked the biggest opening weekend for Denzel Washington's career, surpassing American Gangster, which was in 2007 had a opening weekend for 43.5 million. So
You ever seen that movie?
I have, yes.
Well, that's a great fucking film.
It's a good one. It also topped 8 Mile, which was a $51.2 million debut in 2002 for Denzel Washington. It was also the best opening for a November R-rated film ever. So it is in its second weekend, the film made another 30.7 million and a total of 44 million over the 5-day Thanksgiving time frame. It dropped 44% and actually ended up finishing third its second weekend because Moana 2 came out, which, holiday weekend, got the family, got the kids, they're all on the, extended break. That doesn't surprise me that it dropped down because of Moana 2. In its third weekend, the film made another 12.5 million, remaining in third place. So yeah, it ended up having, it was actually the biggest opening weekend ever for Ridley Scott's career, which is massive. Ridley Scott has put out massive bangers of films.
Yeah. Yes, he has. What a career.
Yeah. Like the film was released in 63 territories 1 week ahead of its US release and earned 87 million. And then the second weekend had Gladiator 2 earning 106 million worldwide to finish second behind Wicked with its 5.5 million overseas, being slightly higher than the 50.2 million of its competitor. So it actually finished it a little ahead of other things over the seas. So, but in all of that comes down to a worldwide total since it released to yesterday the 10th, 369.7 million US dollars worldwide.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean this one's definitely gonna make some money. Sorry, I'm trying to find the
You are good. It is already up for awards if we want to go into its accolades already. The Hollywood Music and Media Awards, which was the ceremony was on November 20th. It was nominated for the original score for a feature film. Then there's a camera image that was also the end of November. It was out for the Golden Frog Award. The National Board of Review Awards ended up putting it in the top 10 films, and that was on December 4th that was the ceremony happened. It's already nominated for Best Supporting Actor Motion Picture for Denzel Washington and a Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award at the Golden Globe Awards, which will happen on January 5th of 2025. Also, on January 11th, 2025, we have the AARP Movies for Grown Up Awards, and it has been nominated for Best Picture, Best Director for Ridley Scott, Best Supporting Actor for Denzel Washington, and Best Supporting Actress for Connie Nielsen.
All right, I feel like we're jumping the shark on that one because I mean,
I don't disagree, but that is all the accolades that have currently put in. It only was nominated for the Hollywood Music and Media Awards and Camera Image. They did not win, but they were nominated.
I'm wondering what this is going to end up doing, with the big boys, and if it's going to get Golden Globes and Academy Awards. Because the consensus I'm getting about this movie, and I do feel a little differently, is that it's a good film, but it's got too much in common with the first one. Um,
Mhm.
I'm looking at it right now, it's sitting at 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I mean, I guess at this point, it's kinda maybe it should be, discussed or referred to as a legacy sequel. I don't think this is so much a sequel as it is something that's kinda like, what Halloween's done or
Sure, which that's totally
what
fair. It's totally fair.
following that trend, which, I don't necessarily feel that way. I do think there is enough, at least for me, that's different. Obviously, I
Mhm.
think when you're telling a story like this, um, like the whole reason this exists is to kind of touch on a lot of the same stuff that happened in the first one. I
Well,
don't think that's something to be held against the film.
I
Um,
do think because literally I watched it, ended the film, and had to immediately leave after finishing the first film to go catch my showtime.
yeah, back to back.
It was literally back to back I watched these, so it was extremely fresh in my brain. And there were a lot of times Dan and I turned to each other like, "Man, we just saw that." We just saw that. However, I don't really mind it. I do think a lot of it was fan service, but on the other coin of it, um, it's been out for a while now, y'all. I'm throwing out spoilers. Our lead character is the son of Maximus from the first one. And so he's kind of he has this
For the
interesting
trailer.
yes. So he has this interesting storyline that he is following in his father's footsteps without knowing it. Um so it kind of I think a lot of this film, like we always say, we need to be careful because history can repeat itself. And in this film, I very much get those vibes. Like you have these new twin tyrannical leaders that kind of are awful in the sense that we had in the first film with the ruler that we ended up getting in the first film. And in my opinion, they are kind of following similar footsteps with one another. And that is like history at this point is repeating itself. That's kind of how I look at these similarities, like the glaring similarities between the two. I kind of chalk up to it, even whether it's how they want it to be or not. I kind of have this vibe of like history is repeat like you need to be careful or history will repeat itself, and therefore we're seeing it repeat itself. And it happens to
That
be
is
the son following the father's footsteps.
that is Emperor Commodus that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't
watched
remember the name off the
one.
top of my head.
No, but I don't look at it like that. I look at it more like, there's just tropes that this genre has to kind of follow, and,
Which
I
is
mean,
fair.
it starts with the first Gladiator. I think anyway. That's the most modern, uh the first real modern ancient Greek movie I can think of, if that makes any sense, where you get
Mhm.
kind of the tropes of there's always kind of like a psychotic ruler, and there's like a bunch of old Roman sex and stuff, and the sexuality stuff, and the violence stuff, and the fact that there's always it does seem like I've seen this, I've seen Gladiator 2, 300 to an extent does it. The show Spartacus does it. Like there's always somebody who ends up being a slave, who gets sold into being a gladiator, who
Well,
becomes the gladiator, and and then you
that well
got the
that thing
fucking
too though, if
people
you think
around.
about it though, that was the times.
But I mean,
When
it's
they say the Colosseum was the heartbeat of Rome, that is 100% the truth. When Ridley
sure,
Scott
but I
made
don't
these films, he was setting out to make as close to historically possible
sure.
like to the history of Rome. There is going to be dramatizations. There's going to be changes for it to translate as a better, more entertaining film. He said that. However, they
Sure.
did really good at trying to depict what Rome was really like and how fucking wild and chaotic it
No,
was.
I understand, and they all do it, and it does feel tropey after a while. I
Sure.
get it,
For
that's how it
sure.
was,
For
but,
sure.
like, everybody really leans into those things, so I don't look at it as, like, being beat for beat like the original so much as it is, like, we're telling the story, we have to have these elements in it. You know what I mean?
See,
The
I
only
felt like it
things
was a history because, like, think about it. Maximus never really got to bring on the world he was like the change to Rome that he was supposed to bring on.
that's
And
implied.
right. But because he never did that, history repeated itself with another awful ruler, or in this case,
Sure,
2.
but as far as the stories are concerned, it's always dude gets put into
No, for
slavery,
sure,
dude
for
becomes
sure,
gladiator, gets
for
gladiator
sure.
trained, dude becomes gladiator, yada yada yada. Because we have to always have a fucking Colosseum thing because
Of
it's ancient
course, it's
Greece, and
Rome.
that's right. Right. So that's what I'm getting at is when I see this stuff, I don't see so much a retread of the original as much as like we
Also,
have to have these
Greece is
scenes.
different than Rome, buddy.
You know what I'm talking about?
Don't make
I
me
actually
take
don't
you
know.
to school.
No, don't take me to school, please. Please don't. Please. I'm begging you, don't do it.
This, like,
I
I
trust you.
know my
You
Greek
have the
and Roman
fucking
stuff
sword and
so
helmet.
well.
Hey, at least I can pronounce the names. All right. I might not know the locations, but I can say the
Oh,
names.
these names I'm fine with.
We'll see. So yeah, get into the movie.
Well, I kind of already was talking about like the repeating of it stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is a story that we've seen before. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I do get it. There are a lot of things that, having just seen the original recently too, I was like, of course this is where it's gonna go, and of course they're gonna do this again. But I mean, everybody in the movie it does their job really, really well. I enjoy Paul Mescal. I love Pedro Pascal.
Pedro
God, this
did
was so close to
great.
say. Denzel Washington, even though he doesn't do an accent, which is on purpose,
Yep.
he's great. It's all about the mannerisms and the fucking the vibe, and you just gotta be like in the, be in the moment and believe you're in ancient Rome and shit. And he looks like he's having a good time, is what I'm gonna say. And his character is the most surprising. Given the fact that his archetype is very much in the first one, his character goes in a completely different direction than the one in the original. So those two are definitely not tit for tat, you know what I mean?
For sure,
But
for
oh
sure.
yeah, Denzel
Which
Washington's performance in this is amazing. I hope he
I
gets
was
his Best Supporting
actually
Actor nominee.
seeing the trailers and seeing that Denzel was in it, like, not to be rude to Denzel, but I was like, man, I hope Denzel brings his shit to the table because that's a like this is a very big out of his normal character role. And I hope he
Well,
fulfills the shoes that it is. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with how well Denzel did. We already know he's a decent actor, but I was very
I don't know, I
impressed.
mean decent.
I'm being modest, okay? But I'm just saying, like, I was impressed with what he did in this role because it was so different than what you ever see him in.
Yeah, and it
He
does
did really
surprise
well.
me. It does surprise me that this is considered this is his biggest box office film because like he's been in some fucking bangers. He's been
Mm-hmm.
in some really, really good movies. The man has won awards for other films. Like it's crazy to think that. But this definitely I think belongs in like the upper echelon of his roles. He's very, very good. You would think the fact that he doesn't have an accent, he's like Denzel, but very much in that world. Like it's crazy. It's
It
crazy how
somehow
good he is,
worked.
and he pulls it off, not in the same way everybody else pulls it off. You know what I mean?
So
Particularly with the accent. He just talks like Denzel, and it's
he
you think
does,
he'd be
yeah.
it's not. It totally works though.
But at least he uses it almost a part of it I think why it works is that it was because he was a slave initially who this wasn't his realm and he has learned how to walk the walk and talk the talk in a realm that was never originally his realm. You know what I mean? Feel like that's maybe part of the way that helps play into that character and how he is like almost like because like technically as being a slave, he was a foreigner to this country and how it works. But with how he has built and moved through the ranks of society, he has learned how to weave his way through it. You know, and I feel like that it plays well like the choices Denzel made with the type of character he was playing.
100%. The only weird part is there's a scene where he says politics and he like draws out the S and he like hisses it. Other than
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of dug it at the time because I was like, oh, well, you're kind of like for his character, it actually does kind of make sense. I don't
It's
want to give anything away
actually
because I think his turn in the movie is amazing. Like that's worth going to watch the movie to me, just for
yeah.
Denzel's character.
Like, it was
Everything
actually
else is
really
pretty by his
interesting,
numbers.
though, because he's loosely based off of, an actual person. He's loosely based off of Marcus Opilius Marcinus, and that was actually a Roman emperor who actually reigned from, like, April 2017 to June 2018, very short-lived. Um, but he actually did so jointly with his young son. So it was kind of interesting having like the dynamics of like how later in the film he's kind of like twisting the brothers against each other. Like he's very, again, very loosely based off of this Roman emperor. But you know, he ended up basically having, he was the first emperor who did not hail from like a high class. And so we see that even with Denzel's character, he is actually egging and trying to gain the throne. He's trying to become a man of power. But he's not from Rome. And it's a very interesting tie to see how there's like tiny little loosely based tidbits of the person he has actually been actually announced to be loosely based off of, to how they've weaved that into this very interesting and unique character to the Gladiator films.
Yeah, I would say right off rip that as far as the performances in the movie are concerned, he is probably the best. Um, and I think it's probably because he kind of has the most to do. He's not the most paint by numbers. Him and Pedro
Mm-hmm.
Pascal have the two characters that seem to have the most leeway with the story. Like they're not too confined to their archetypes. These are the ones that actually have
Agreed.
like arcs, I guess, where you could yeah, I'm gonna go with arcs
Mm-hmm.
that aren't by the numbers. As soon as Paul Mescal's character, I mean, it's in the trailer. As soon as
Hano.
Lucius is revealed, everybody still kind of
Mm-hmm.
pretty much goes exactly where you think they're going to go. Those two characters are the ones that kind of, I mean, they both flip. They both very much flip. They think they're going to be one thing, and then they flip into another.
I didn't love.
I enjoyed them the most.
I will say the one thing, because you got to reveal that it's the son and everything else. Like we all knew it, but like the characters had to figure it out. I do think that Lucilla, like Connie Nielsen's specific way of like, I know my son when I see him. Like you haven't seen him
She's
in,
great.
like she did phenomenal. She was great in the first. She was even better in my opinion in the second.
Yeah, she's got a
And
little bit more to do in this one.
yeah, she's a bigger role, more pivotal for sure. But I hated how she just was like, oh, he's fighting like Maximus. He's doing that. Oh, that must be my son. It was a little like too on the nose. Like, okay, guys, we could have weaved that a little better. There
Well,
could have been maybe a
yeah,
little
and
bit more build up and suspicion of him being the son. But whatever, we had to get the story moving.
yeah, and even the way he acts in those moments too. It's like you really haven't done that. You've definitely been much the barbarian that they thought that you were. And then as soon as you get into the arena and everybody's watching, now you're doing the same shit. It's like why you change up your whole style now? So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But there are different, like for Mescal in particular, it was nice to see in certain moments, and maybe it was just me, where he could very much pull off the Russell Crowe aspect of the character.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
there's even moments and lines that he repeats from the first one that I got to make sure I get it right. That Richard Harris says as the Emperor in the first one, and he kind of says them like Richard Harris said it in the first one. And the only reason why I picked that up is because I just recently saw the fucking film. So those were cool too, and I appreciated his performance for stuff like that. It's just it's the little things,
Yeah,
not to be confused with the Denzel Washington movie, The Little Things, which is fucking awful.
which is still our lowest rated film on the show.
But yeah, it was cool to see stuff like that. Like for me personally, been watching movies forever. I'm not an idiot to performances and stuff like that, but
Right.
this is really the first one where I was like, oh, like I actually see the little things that you're doing in there, and it's cool.
It's like you're doing little nuances and I'm seeing them and I'm liking them.
Yeah, really picking out why I think like, oh, that's probably something that you did, where even the director was like, yeah, like keep doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It was nice to see that those kind of informed decisions be on the screen. Pedro Pascal, like he does this all the time, and he's really good at it. So I mean, I don't have too much to critique on his performance. I've seen him play a badass with a sword and shield quite a few times. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just good at it. But his character, like I said, goes through a nice switch of an arc to where I was like, oh, I did not honestly didn't really see that coming. That's cool. I thought there was going to be more conflict with that, given what gets Lucius turned into a slave to begin with. We kind of just brush that aside. Um, okay, cool. But when it ends up getting to the really good stuff at the end, I think it's not the most egregious thing that this movie does.
No,
I'm trying not to
the
spoil it,
most
but I probably
egregious thing this movie does is put fucking sharks in the Coliseum.
Okay, so it is fact that they did flood. They would
Yes.
flood the Coliseum.
They actually, so
So
the whole naval battle that they did with one
they would do.
another, they actually genuinely did those. However, they never had sharks in the Coliseum, but they did have crocodiles because those were easier to catch and bring in, and like have as beasts. And I actually think I would have liked like, don't get me wrong, I still love that scene. I know like they fall and you see the blood go and you're like, well, here comes the shark. Sure enough, here's like 20 sharks. It may visually really cool. I think I would have liked it even better from a historical standpoint, especially because I love Greek and Roman like history. It would have been
You
really
wanted the
cool.
gators?
I actually would have preferred the crocodiles. Yeah.
Oh, the crocodiles. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
Close enough. You know, at least it's the same subspecies, I guess.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, yeah. But I only would prefer. I would have preferred the crocodiles specifically for the realism. You know,
I
they
could
were.
see that. I could see that. And you know what? I think if I hadn't already read an article that discussed the sharks, if I had no idea, I may have watched it and be like, I don't know, man. But
It's funny
you know,
because I had that discussion. Dan's brother had seen it, and he's like, "Yeah, the only thing I wasn't really a big fan of the sharks and like the naval bit." And I was like, "He's like, that's so fake." I was like, "Actually, the only not true part of that is the sharks. They actually
yeah.
did flood it. The naval battle they did was actual battles they would do. They didn't do it all the time because it was a lot of work, but they would do special events with that."
What a piece of fucking engineering and architecture that is, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think enough can be
absolutely.
stated. I'm on a little bit of a kick just kind of reading about the Colosseum, but like, holy shit, dude. The fact that it stood for this long and it's gone
Mm-hmm.
in different eras of disrepair. Like, that was the crazy
Yeah.
thing that I read the most about it. Is like, it's been totally left to shit and we fixed it a few times. Like, that's insane.
Throughout, not
Um,
not even just like in the modern age, we fixed it a few times. It's been fixed throughout its entire lifespan.
yes.
Like
Yes. Fucking wild.
major
And
thing.
you look at okay, look, we're in the Metro Detroit area. The Lions are doing their thing. We're big fans. Like Ford Field is not gonna last thousands of years. Like as soon as that thing goes into disrepair, it's over.
Well, let's
Oh,
be honest, nothing in our modern day is going to last thousands of years because of the type of materials we use nowadays and the different way of labor and the way like we cut around to
yeah,
make
cheap.
our jobs easier and cheaper. Like things aren't going to last as long as they did is like the crazy manpower and raw material that they use to make things like the Colosseum or like think about how long even the pyramids have been around. They've been around longer than actually the Colosseum has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they took just as long to fucking put up too, so I guess it does make sense.
Fair.
I mean, not to turn this into a fucking history lesson, but
I mean,
like
I'll turn
I
it in
am
a
I
history
am
lesson all
low
night.
key I'm low key a history buff. I'd be into it. We
I
might have
mean,
to
I am
we might
high
have
key
to
a
team up.
history buff, so
We might have to do the one historian someday. But yeah, it's crazy to think that like nothing today, but like you said, because of the materials, but also we're fucking terrible at taking care of stuff now.
yes.
Like, we don't give a shit about stuff like that, honestly. Things go into disrepair so much, and it's just a lot easier to knock it down and rebuild it, not as well, than it is to just preserve it. Growing up in our area too, you see it all the times with the houses and the buildings. It's different now, but about 10, 15 years ago, everything was just going to shit because we did not give a fuck, and it was just a microcosm of what we do now with old civilization stuff or just stuff from
I
50
mean, the
years ago or
biggest thing
something
was
like
like
that.
the market crash. I think is what really caused that big shift.
Well, for
You know?
us, but I mean,
Yeah.
just in general, we're
No, for
terrible
sure.
about preserving our history. We really are. So it's nice to see something
Specifically
like
the
that.
U.S. because we've only had it for a few hundred years.
Honestly, well, I mean, our mud huts weren't gonna make it anyway, but we tried.
Yeah. There's mud
Like those
huts.
cabins that were
There's
made out
mud
of
huts in Norway that have
mossy
though.
mud. You know what I mean? And I mean, everything was made out of wood over here. We set everything on fire.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Rob for being them being in France, he's like mind blown how our houses like their houses are actually made with brick, like the fact that like we have hollow like walls, our wall like behind our
Yeah,
plastering is nothing, like
nothing.
that's mind-blowing to actually like all like out of the US people because all of their stuff is actually bricked behind, like the plastering is full brick.
Yeah, maybe some microfiber fucking insulation, maybe. Like that's all
So
that's back there.
funny enough, the reason they were even able to repair Notre Dame is because Ubisoft was actually allowed in for the Assassin's Creed game to actually get scannings and like 3D scannings of the of Notre Dame. The so like that's how they actually created their 3D models was by being granted permission to go in and get these scans done to create their 3D models for the game. And then when Notre Dame got burned down and destroyed, they actually for like just gave the country their scans so they could actually use those scans to properly re-replicate and rebuild Notre Dame, which is a really cool Ubisoft thing that I love. Ubisoft is actually massive into history because of Assassin's Creed. So they have like their whole stuff for like wanting to like help history, record history, and like save history is really a really cool thing of Ubisoft. But just since Tyler, you brought that up in chat, the Coliseum definitely can still stand a chance for sure.
I mean, the Coliseum will probably be here more by the time the sun takes us. Like, I have no doubts. I just read earlier, like I said, I'm on a little bit of a kick. The Italian government is devoting like $20 million to restoring it some more. So, like,
Hmm.
it's crazy, but that's that's awesome. It's nice to see that fucking governments and people can put their shit aside for something like that because like
Uh,
that's important. That's
I mean,
literally
another
human
really
history.
cool thing of like history and like the modern age and like these companies, it's another Ubisoft fact, but since you
Shit,
are a history, minor history buff, it's really cool that they're doing
low key high key
Ubisoft
above.
Ubisoft is actually working with schooling systems to create like full like walkthrough models because they already have all these model scannings. They're working on creating these really cool like interactive like programs that kids use to learn history and to like be able to like immerse themselves into the area like back when it was thriving and to really learn the history more hands on that way, which is really cool because a lot of people use history and like their world history classes as snooze fest. I did not. I ate it up and continued afterwards. I taught myself hieroglyphics for God's sake. um, but yeah, it's just really cool to see like how stuff like that is happening. Then you see these films like Ridley Scott wanted to be as closely accurate as film could allow him to be, and I think it's awesome to see that attention
As
to
far as the
detail.
look is concerned, because he definitely takes his
He
liberties
takes
with
his
within history.
history and like story liberties 100%, but visually and how like the dynamics of the
Doesn't bother me, by
politics
the way.
and everything work absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's about it's a fucking movie. You know what I mean? He's not with
Hmm.
Napoleon. I could see if you wanna start an argument, for something like this, it's not historical fiction. It's fiction that's in a historical setting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's a
Exactly.
difference. But everything in this movie for me, it works. It's nice to see the modern technology bring the battles to life better with the action sequences and stuff. The choreography in this film, man,
The
Ridley
fight
Scott can
choreography was
do.
so good.
Ridley Scott has no problems doing an epic battle, historical battle. The man can do it in his sleep. It's crazy. The movie opens up with one in North Africa, I think. Like
Hmm.
it's crazy. The scope and everything too. He fucking I get lost in stuff like that, just thinking of what exactly is practical and what isn't, especially with now's modern tech. It's very impressive to look at. It was. He does a sweeping epic shot very well.
Yes. It's
How'd you
this
feel
is
about the twins
the twins
after you did?
honestly, I think Fred Heichinger and Joseph Quinn did fantastic. I really liked the dynamic that the two of them had. In the regards of like one is very much like the kind of put together one, while the other one has obvious some sort of like autism potentially. There was something mentally wrong for sure with Emperor Caracalla,
Yeah,
and
he had a disease.
yes.
It's in the movie. He's got an STD from hell, and it's affecting his brain, is what they
Well,
say.
on top
Like,
of that,
that's
his brother,
fucked up.
he's also less stable due to cognitive erosion as well in his brain. Um, but he, it's interesting because like he also do know that like he um does as you were saying has an STD. But he was also when this character is being crafted was greatly inspired by the Joker. Like Ridley Scott has came out and said that.
Sorry to hear
So
that.
it's very very cool. He has the
Well, they
pet
both
monkey.
they both come off like that to me, honestly. I mean, I don't. Fred Fred is a good actor. Fred is a very good actor.
Hmm.
I don't think he gets a whole lot to do. It's just every once in a while he gets to be. Um, I'm not saying this in a bad way. He gets to be over the top. whereas Joseph Quinn gets all the monologues and the real
Right.
dialogue-y stuff. And it's like he's supposed to be one character that they for whatever reason decide to split into, and one is I don't want to say straight laced, but one is just you say all the dialogue and you just be crazy. That's
Yeah.
essentially what they are.
So like also like doing when I was doing like research and everything on this. So no surprise, they're supposed to be almost a replay of Romulus and Remus, which we do see. Those are Roman and within Roman mythology, the twin brothers, who were you know raised by a she wolf and everything. You see that's part of like one of the big shots even in the beginning of the film is that very well known statue. And there so that was a major inspiration. Another one was the two being like Beavis and Butthead from the show of the same name. But Joseph Quinn specifically didn't want to completely copy Joaquin's Phoenix performance, but he did take inspiration from it for his performance as Commodus specifically.
I
But
mean,
he
it
also
feels
took
like they both did.
he has came out and said that he took inspiration from Philip Seymour Hoffman. Sorry, Philip Seymour Hoffman's Owen Davian from Mission Impossible 3, as well as Gary Oldman's Jean Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg from The Fifth Element.
Hilarious.
All of those, along with Romulus and Remus and Beavis and Butthead, all went into like his inspiration for really being able to take on this role. And then he did an inspiration for actual Emperor Gaeta's look was actually John Linden. So
Cool.
yeah,
I
sorry,
don't know who
there's a
that is.
lot of facts thrown out.
I got who everybody was until the last one. I don't know that dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
But
that doesn't surprise me. He's his former stage name is Johnny Rotten. He's a British singer and songwriter.
yeah, I know Johnny Rotten.
Yeah, he's from the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, I know people that are gonna kill me when they hear me say this shit. Sorry.
I gave you not his well-known stage name.
That doesn't matter. Okay, so they're good, but their characters I would say are the weakest.
Agreed.
Next to just the random like extras that we get in there, like there's Vigo, the like guard, the gladiator guard type dude. Um, he's fine in the role. All the other
Mm-hmm.
gladiators are fine in their roles. This movie has the same problem that the first one has, is that with the supporting characters that aren't the main players, like nobody does anything, nobody gets any kind of personality. They're there just to be bodies. I don't have a problem with that, but given how much time we spend with Lucius in his enslavement, you like give somebody else something to do. Like let him interact with somebody. He's either in his cell by himself or he's in the fucking Coliseum. And if it's not one of those, then he's interacting with one of the people, like a Pedro or Connie or Denzel. When it
Yeah.
comes to him and actual people around him, he doesn't fucking interact with any of them. Nobody has anything to do, and they're all just, they're wasted. They're there to be bodies.
The best like supporting actor from the Gladiator side of things was aside obviously from Denzel,
Robbie.
was Ravi for sure,
Good
who is
character.
played by Alexander Kareem.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic character. I was really intrigued by this character and liked what we got. And I like how because there was a lot of heat about why he never took up his blade again and to fight and help like Hano and Lucius in that way. And I actually love the fact that he never did because he said, I've stepped away from the fighting. That is not me anymore. And I like that he's more of the messenger guy. I like
Yeah.
I like that role for him.
No, he's the dude that comes in and does the exposition and helps us get along from point A to point B. I
He
dig.
moves shit
Comes
along.
in. He does. He does. You need a character like that. He does it very well. Shit. I don't know. I can't think of too much that I didn't enjoy about the movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I do
Agreed.
understand the gripe about the beats, but like I don't know, it doesn't bother me because it's not just the beats from the first one, it's the beats from any ancient Rome gladiator fucking thing. There's always these key elements that have
Like,
to
let's
be in
be
there.
honest, the film is already 2.5 hours long, and
Yeah,
people give films gripe for being even that long now because everybody is in a short form content kind of watch. I'm someone who's a
it's
binge
an epic.
watcher. I can watch long ass films. I mean, I grew up watching the extended Lord of the Rings. I'm ready to sit down and watch. Like, I do think that this film, for its beats and like how people feel about it, I think they could have transitioned to each other smoother if there was a little bit more time to pad and play with, but it wasn't necessary either. I'm not
And
upset with what we got. We get tropes, yes, but it's what I was expecting going into this film as well.
it's a tried and true formula because it's tried and true, right? And the
Exactly.
thing is you're piggybacking off of maybe the best example of this genre in Gladiator.
Yep.
So it all makes sense, but I think everybody does a fucking top-notch job. It's obviously made very, very well. It's Ridley Scott. There isn't
Mhm.
too much that I find wrong with the movie. I'm a history buff, but the fact that there's things that are historically inaccurate don't bother me because the movie's very entertaining. Okay, there's fucking sharks. Big deal.
Yep.
Um, do I think they needed to be in there? No, but they were fun. It added to the scene, I think.
And
There
that's
was
where I agree. I would have preferred crocodiles for the historical side of it, but honestly, it was fun having the sharks. I didn't mind
really
it.
doesn't have anything to do like the sharks have nothing to do with the scene. They're there, but just to kind of give a reason to just kill more people. That's
Yeah.
it. They fall into the water.
They fall
Oh, what are
over.
they gonna
Oh, they're
do?
all done. They
Yeah,
don't
what
get
are they?
back on board.
Are we just gonna get up and join the battle again? No, they're getting eaten by sharks. Like, sweet, I'm here for it.
Exactly.
I dig all the motivations and all the storylines that are going on in here. I do, like I said, enjoy Pedro Pascal's character. Hold
I
on.
really liked the development of Pedro Pascal's
Yeah,
character.
General Acacius is a G. General Acacius is cool, and I
Yes.
do like how they bring in the comparison to him and Maximus from the first one. It's like they
Yes.
kind of are doing the same thing. So
Absolutely.
Lucius's
I, and
character,
I
he's just the one dude
love
that's just like there.
I love like though Lucius does have like moments where he looks and acts like Maximus, like the true like repeat of Maximus in this film
Yeah,
is Pedro Pascal's character, and I love it. I love what he does. I'm so sad that he dies. However,
spoilers, yo.
it's been out for ages at this point, okay? But at what I'm getting at is like though I am sad the character does die and doesn't get to continue on, he had
Yeah.
to. Like for what the events to unfold, he needed to die.
Mm.
And I also like it caused an interesting
Too.
dynamic for son and mother. Not where she necessarily blamed him by any means, but like it did cause for nice pain, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to say the pain was good, but it was well scripted. I really like how it played on the
Yeah.
screen.
Well, I mean, that is the brutal way to pass the baton. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But now it is your fight. Now you see that you've been fucking up this whole time, and now you have to embrace who you are. That type of thing. Yeah, I dig
Mhm.
it too. As far as the mother and son are concerned, I did like because if anybody's seen Terminator: Dark Fate, they do a CGI Edward Furlong to kill off John Connor in that movie. And
Yes.
when you find out that it is Lucius, the dude that played him in the original, does not take up the mantle. We have a new actor, but also when there's flashbacks and you see a young Lucius, like I've seen that actor. I know that little kid from the first one, and we got a dude that kinda, sorta looks like him, and there's no CGI and stuff, and it would have completely thrown me off if I saw CGI. Hang on, what's my man's name? Spencer Treat Clark. If I would have seen a CGI'd young one like they did with Edward Furlong, it would have sent me.
That would have been
I mean,
hilarious.
it would have been totally on brand. I'm just surprised that they didn't do it, that they went out of the way to try and find an actual body double. Like, what's more off putting? This kid that kind of looks like Spencer Treat Clark as a kid, or a CGI Spencer Treat Clark being a little kid? Like, which one? Pick your poison. I was a little afraid either way. But that little things like that are things where I go, that's maybe your only dumb decision in this movie, but Ridley Scott is, I mean, he's a fucking considered a master of filmmaking for a reason. So I don't think there's anything that we could
He's
say is
one of my
overtly,
favorite. He's in one of my favorites for sure.
you know what I mean? So he doesn't do anything overtly bad in here unless you
Mhm.
really want to like nitpick. Otherwise,
Anything I really have that's, like, bad to say is just me nitpicking, like, "Oh,
seriously,
we should have had gator the sorry, now you have me fucking it up, but we
the
should have
Gatons.
had crocodiles instead of sharks."
Oh yeah, the
Oh, you
crocodile.
know, there was a lot of fan service and similarities from the first one to the second one, and that's if I wanna get super nitpicky, but I liked there being similarities, and I liked how it felt like history was repeating itself.
Yeah,
Um,
that like, typical hero's journey and shit that comes with this stuff. Like, yeah, of
Precisely.
course you've seen
Like,
it 1,000
what was
times. Of
it
course you
tropey?
do it.
Yes, there was all the tropes in here that you would expect for a Greek Roman film and, for to follow Gladiator, but you're
Yeah.
also it's literally by the same director in the same franchise as the one who started the main tropes for it. So,
They built a fucking Colosseum facade again. Like, that's wild
yep.
that they do shit like that. But no, it was cool. It was cool to watch this. I don't have any real major problems with the movie other than, the nitpicky shit. But yeah, no, I think there are performances in here that definitely deserve awards. I
Absolutely.
don't think it deserves a movie of the year. I don't think it's that good, but it's still pretty fucking good.
It is definitely not movie of the year. It is very high up in my ranking for because this is a reminder to everybody.
Oh yeah, we got
In
to do this now.
beginning of January, after we've seen our 2024 films, finished off the year, we're gonna rank all of the 2024 films we have seen, and
Mhm.
from worst to best, and we're gonna see where our differences lie because it's always interesting to see how our three brains work differently and think differently
Honestly,
than one another, or surprisingly agree. But anyway, with that said, um, it's one of those things where it's like it is very high on my list. I will give it that. I had a good time. I really enjoyed it for like the history nerd in me and like kind of like that fantasy, like the older era type of movies. Like this checked all the boxes that I usually like that I like. I came here to have a good time. I had a good time,
yeah.
and
Well, like
you
for me personally, I watch shit like that and I go, man, we were fucked up. Man, I would not survive. There's Jesus Christ, there's no way. These dudes are just chopping each other up with reckless abandon, and like, yeah, that's what humans did to each other in
yeah,
the ancient times. It was all about just fucking killing each other for sport, like insane. So yeah, I would not have made it. I would love to say I'd be about that life, but nah, I'm getting hacked up within the first 5 minutes. I'm getting owned. Good movie though.
it was a very good movie. So what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Just the nitpicky shit, the kind of sort of off-putting shit.
I'm
Nothing.
like not to like interrupt you or anything, but I'm just gonna say I'm also an 8.5. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, there's really
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. It's just little things, little things for us. Denzel Washington is amazing in the movie. Mescal does a phenomenal job melding the
Hmm.
two, I think, characters that he is directly identified with in the film. Pedro Pascal is a hit in this. Connie Nielsen is very good.
She does great
Fred,
reprising her role.
she really does, and it's nice to see how I mean, these legacy shit and what we're doing now. When they're good, they're really, really good. Joseph Quinn and Fred Hetchinger, they're great. I mean, I, their characters are probably suffer the most, but that's just because they have like
But
the least to do.
that's
They're the
because
most
their
archetypal
characters
too.
are also not meant to be there through the end of the movie. They're
They're the
not
most
the
basic.
like yeah, they're though they are big bads of like they're kind of they're like mini big bad evil guys because they are not
Well,
the
well, no,
main big bad evil guy of the entire film. That ends up being Denzel's character.
yeah.
So, it is like that's partially probably why we feel like they're a little lackluster is because they weren't developed to be there through the entire film anyway.
Speaking of, love me some Peter Mensa. He's in it for 5 minutes. Like that's cool. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I love him in these roles. He's very good. It is something that he just like does. He fits in perfectly. I was looking for more from his character. He's not in it very long. It
Also,
is what it is.
the character he played is actually a genuine king of Numidia. So like they actually had him reprise a actual proper um historical role.
I hope that's not how he went out. By the way, the CG. Here's why it's an 8.5. Those CGI monkeys. I read something after I watched the movie that said that they look like proto xenomorphs. Can't get that out
Mm-hmm.
of my head now. That's not what they should look like. The CGI for them in particular, not great. Not great. The
Yeah,
monkeys did not look great.
yeah.
The
I
sharks looked a little bit better.
I don't disagree. I'm trying to see actually how this guy died because I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's why it's a 8.5.
Um,
Oh, he gets his neck bitten by a monkey when he just kind of lays down.
yeah, no, no, no. I mean, in like how like the actual historical
Oh,
um
I actually,
Degreutha
thank you. I was gonna
dies.
ask that question actually, but I decided to rant more about how the monkeys looked.
Let's see. So he was captured in 105 BC, paraded through Rome as part of Gaius Marius's Roman triumph, which is accurate as we see.
Mhm.
He was thrown into the Tullianum prison, where he was executed by strangulation in 104 BC. So
Damn.
he was executed and was strangled to death.
I mean, I guess going out by CGI monkeys is a little more dignified. I guess.
He chose his
I don't,
death
I don't know,
in
but
that one.
those did not look. That was not impressive CGI on those animals at all.
Yeah, that
Uh,
like I they weren't enough for me to like be like, "Oh, this is like movie
excuse me.
breaking for me," but they could have been better for sure.
I mean, it definitely takes it from a 9 to an 8.5,
Yeah.
along with the nitpicky shit. That is what I can get take half a point off for sure. What about you? Oh, you said 8.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm at 8.5. That's me being nitpicky, really like looking at some of the stuff we saw. I'm gonna be honest, I just saw Wicked last night. This is not going to win. Um by any means is it going to win like costume design at the Oscars. I think Wicked hands down has that taken for sure over this film. Though I do think
Dead,
this will be nominated for it. What was the question? Sorry.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
We'll see. We'll see.
Tyler gives it an 8.
Very nice, very nice. Tyler saw it with me.
I mean,
So,
yeah.
out of curiosity, because you had just seen for the first time the first Gladiator,
Mhm.
seeing it 24 years later,
Yeah,
what would you rate the first Gladiator film?
probably an 8.5 as well. I don't know. I could probably give it a 9, but I feel like I could probably also give it an 8.
Sure.
Um, Not everything holds up.
Right. And that you're judging it after seeing it like 24 years
Yeah,
after its time.
yeah. I screwed myself with that one, but Russell Crowe is fantastic in it. Joaquin
So
Phoenix is
good.
fantastic in it. I forget about who all is in it, and especially given the time, but they all nail it. I see why they got cast in those roles. Richard Harris
Mhm.
is really great in the movie too for the limited time that he's in it. Yeah, and then I watched it too, also having consumed all this other media and seen shows like Spartacus and 300 and all this other stuff, and then going back and watching it and seeing where it all began. There's that too, because I'm like, well, maybe I like this one more. I don't know. I probably should have seen it first.
Sure.
I didn't. It is what
Cuz
it is.
that honestly this is the film that like set the stage for those.
100%. But it is a great movie. Overall, it does hold up. And yeah, I would recommend this just as much as I would recommend Gladiator 2.
Yeah. I'm
100%.
yeah. It was really good.
Mhm.
Well, everybody, this is our movie review of Gladiator 2 and a tiny little bit of Gladiator 1.
We're
But
totally qualified to do this.
absolutely qualified to do this. And I am outwardly a major history buff, and he's outwardly not, but is a major
I
history
am
buff.
low key, high key a history guy myself.
I am high key a history buff. So teaching myself hieroglyphs and genuinely in middle school.
Well, we gotta
My teacher
sometimes
told me I needed to stop checking out the same book every time we went to the library.
I haven't seen enough ancient buildings. Like the Alamo was sick, but now I want to go see like some actual old shit.
Yeah, it was really cool being in Japan, like being in Kyoto and being in like these being in the actual imperial castles and seeing in like the
Yeah,
shrines are thousands upon thousands of years old. It was
yeah,
so cool.
that'd be
So,
wild.
yeah, I have plenty of travel lined up after I have a job and have money.
Soon.
Hopefully, we'll see what
This
happens.
this is
Yeah,
your job. We'll make you money.
we'll see what happens.
By the
But
way, just given the fact that we talked about like Craven and shit, this needs to be uploaded like soon.
I got you. Yep. I got you. But for now, everybody, I'm Morgan, and that is Luke, and we are your hosts tonight for the Wannabes podcast. Sadly, Dreaded is not here tonight, but he'll be joining us hopefully next week.
That's okay. I got him covered. It's fine.
Yeah, that's great. Y'all cover each other when you need it, you know? And then when I'm not here, y'all struggle to figure out how to run the show.
We don't need to talk about that.
I'm just teasing you. It's just, I don't get to tease them too often about it, so it's nice when I can.
That's what it is.
But just as a reminder, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by looking up Podcast Wanna or the Wannabes Podcast. You can also follow us over on TikTok. And don't forget to head over to our YouTube and Spotify to follow us. That way you know when we upload. And if you didn't catch the live show, you can rewatch it there or listen to it on the go. So yeah, make sure you head on over and give those areas some love too, because supporting us anywhere and everywhere helps us grow and helps us evolve and bring a even better show to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you again, everybody. We will catch you next week. Stay tuned to our socials to find out what we're reviewing. It might be a double feature. We might be reviewing 2 films. So,
Potentially.
oh, sorry, Owen. Owen sneaked in on me right at the end there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to accidentally kick you. But for now, everybody, have a fantastic night. We'll see you next time. And also, don't forget the popcorn, all right?
Yeah, there's some shit coming out, so follow us.
There's gonna be a lot of good stuff coming, so we can't wait.
Very excited. Pay attention.
See you next time, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.